Meet Rabbi Brian Michelson. A native of New York, Rabbi Michelson was recently honored for his tenure of over 20 years as Rabbi of Reform Congregation Oheb Shalom. Rabbi Michelson lives in Wyomissing with his wife Holly and is the proud father of 2 daughters.
I grew up in what I refer to as a traditional Reform family. So it was very clearly known from the time I started to grow up that every Friday night the expectation was you would be home for Friday night dinner. There was Friday night dinner. Most weeks we went to services together as a family. We've observed all the holidays at home. We even built a sukkah. We even built a sukkah at home. It was all part of our practice, but we did it in an egalitarian setting, and so Judaism was instilled in me from a very, very young age. It was something that was important to my grandparents, to my mother, who was a Jewish educator, and my father, who supported all she did. And so I came up very naturally as somebody who was part of the Jewish community. When I finally decided to become a rabbi, I thought I had made this gigantic decision and finally shared it with the family, and everybody else was like, "Yeah, we knew that already. What took you so long?" Because for them, they knew that my attachment to the community was so strong that I was going to end up in a Jewish profession. For me, probably one of the really big moments in my life came when I was a student at Franklin and Marshall. The rabbi at Shari Shamayim, the Reform congregation there, David Sofian at the time, introduced me to the day school they had in Lancaster, and I ended up teaching part-time at the day school in Lancaster while I was during my senior year of college. And that gave me the opportunity to spend some time teaching, but teaching in a much deeper way than I had the opportunity to do so before. And it was during that time that I realized that being a rabbi was what I wanted to do as my way of serving the community, because I loved working with the kids, and I have always loved working with the kids. But being a rabbi means my teacher, and it allows me to be a teacher not only to the kids, but also to adults in the community. It was particularly exciting for me as a rabbi when, over 20 years ago, when I was looking to leave my first congregation in Australia and come here and come back to the United States looking for a new job. Reading offered the opportunity for the Oheb Shalom had decided to move out of the city, was building the property that we're now at. I had the opportunity to participate in that process, the building, the last bit of the fundraising, as well as coming in at a time where community relations weren't necessarily the best. And so I was able, with a fresh slate, be able to start and rebuild the relationship that Oheb Shalom had with the Federation, with the JCC, and with the broader community. The Jewish community is what I do for a living, and I understand that, and I have said to people on more than a few occasions, one of the unique things about being a rabbi is, yes, I'm employed by a particular congregation, but as I say it, I work for God and the Jewish people, and the Jewish people is more than just my congregation. And so sometimes part of what I'm expected to do things that are in the best interest of the community, even if they may not be 100% in the best interest of Oheb Shalom, because we have to look at the larger picture. We don't exist as fortresses of one synagogue against another. We're all in this together.
The Jewish Federation of Reading hopes you enjoyed this story in getting to know a fellow Jew living in Berks County. Federation is the central organization for issues affecting all Jews in Berks County. It represents us all, working closely in cooperation with local synagogues and community partners. Your gift to Federation supports our Jewish community here in Berks County, in Israel, and around the world. You provide cultural programs through the JCC. You assist Berks County Jews in need through Jewish Family Service. You combat the growing problem of anti-Semitism. You fund Jewish education for the next generation. To continue these services, we ask you to participate in a very special community campaign. During 2020, generous community members will match dollar-for-dollar campaign increases from both new donors and longtime contributors. Every new or additional campaign dollar donated in 2020 becomes $2. If you're not yet a contributor, please consider starting. If you're already a contributor, please consider increasing your gift. Your campaign contribution to Federation keeps our story of Jewish life going here in Berks County.